What's up, guys? We are back with Week 5 Thursday Night Football action. We are going to do a deep dive on this matchup between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons and see what kind of value we can find on the side and on the total. And we're going to take a good hard look at the player props for this one as well. Also, I'm going to break down Game 3 between the Mets and Brewers and see what value we can find in the MLB streets. Speaking of MLB, guys, we absolutely crushed it yesterday. A great one out there, no doubt about it. We hit all four of our sides, nailing Detroit plus 146. That was a 5-2 win there for the Tigers. The bullpen was great. That full bullpen start, something I think we could see many more times here in the playoffs. Ibanez, a bases loaded double in the 8th inning. Elite stuff there from Detroit. Coming through at plus 146 feels great. We had Riley Green to get a hit in that game. He did not, went 0 for 4. What a bum. What are you going to do, though? The Royals at plus 135 came through for us as well, guys. Great stuff there in that 2-1 win. Lugo was fine, but the Royals bullpen was great out there. We also had Bobby Witt Jr. to get a hit. He killed it out there with a couple hits, so very good stuff in that game. We also had the Brewers minus 106. That was a 5-3 win there for Milwaukee. 2 8th inning home runs. Montas, not great in the start. Definitely starting pitching a continued concern here for the Brewers down the stretch in the playoffs, assuming they can win in Game 3, but we'll see what they're able to do out there. We did have the no-run first inning in that game. That did not hit, but guys, we finished the day off strong. We had the Padres minus 116. That was a 5-4 win. Huge second inning. The bullpen barely hung on, but they found a way to make it happen. We also had Profar to get a hit in that game, and he came through for us as well. So great stuff there. 4-0 on the sides, like I was talking about. And overall, guys, we went 6-2 on the day, including all those, props and stuff. So very, very good stuff out there. We will certainly take that. And guys, if you want to win all of your bets on Thursday night, hit that like button. It's good luck and shows support for the channel and all the hard work we're putting in every single day. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on our daily content. You can also now sign up for a channel membership by clicking the little join button right below the video. Members get exclusive early access to all NFL and college football videos and get their names up on screen just like right now. I really appreciate the support from all of you. Seeing that little badge next to your comments absolutely warms my heart. Our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. We have a team of experienced cappers over there for every major sport, currently covering MLB, NCAA football, UFC, and the NFL, with NHL starting off here on Sunday. This is one of the best times of the year to be in the mix with so many sports going on. Click the link in the description if you're interested in signing up, and also to join our free email list to get the occasional free or premium pick straight to your inbox, and to track our new $100 to $10,000 challenge, which is going on right now. Comment below with any bets you're looking at today, and we will give you our best advice on all of them. We are committed to responding to every single comment every day, so let us know anything you want to say about my picks, these videos, or anything you see here. As always, our favorite picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going on the road to take on the Atlanta Falcons in an NFC South showdown here on Thursday night. The Buccaneers come into this game 3-1 on the season. Have to be feeling pretty good about that. Getting that blowout win last week against Philadelphia had to feel pretty sweet, and at 3-1, they're currently in the top spot there in the NFC South, so things are pretty much going as well as could reasonably be expected here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Obviously a rough loss there against Denver in week 3, but they were far from full strength in that game, and the question is kind of going to be, are they going to be at full strength for this one? We'll have to see, guys, but looking at how they did last week against the Eagles, everything was clicking there right out of the gate. Things were looking fantastic. They jumped out to a 14-0 lead in the first quarter. Baker Mayfield had a very good day, passing for nearly 350 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He was sacked twice, but overall, definitely the kind of day that you are hoping to see most of the time here from Baker Mayfield, and a decent showing there from what was a pretty banged up Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive line. In the running game, they did some positive stuff as well. We saw Irving and White put up basically identical numbers, guys, with Irving finding his way into the end zone, but each one of them had 49 yards on 10 carries. Those are definitely the kind of numbers that are very, very playable. We saw Baker Mayfield run for a touchdown in the game. Just great stuff across the board from Tampa Bay, moving the ball on the ground, and the passing game looked pretty good as well. Mike Evans did well, 8 receptions, 94 yards, a touchdown. 14 targets. The dude soaks up a ton of targets every game. We saw Godwin do some good stuff as well. And yeah, just generally speaking, guys, this Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense is a force to be reckoned with. I think this is going to be a very, very good team on that side of the ball pretty much all season long, unless they really get derailed by some sort of major injury problems. But right now, loving what we're seeing from the Buccaneers on offense and on defense last week. things looked great as well. They were taking on a very limited, very banged up Eagles team, but 6 sacks, allowing only 16 points, shutting down Jalen Hurts through the passing game, although he was without his best, wide receiver targets. The concern right now for Tampa Bay is their inability to stop the run. They gave up 84 yards on only 10 carries to Saquon. That's a bit rough. Obviously, 59 of those yards came on one individual carry, but still not a very good day there for the Buccaneers in run defense. Certainly a concern moving forward. They did force 2 fumbles in that game, so pretty nice to get a couple of turnovers there against the Eagles, and just a very, very good day for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. A defense that I would mention has been pretty solid this season. Top 10 in points against. Good stuff out there, no doubt about it for Tampa Bay. So right now, guys, feeling good about what they're doing in terms of their injury report, though we do have some reason for concern here. Mike Evans, he was limited in Tuesday on practice with his knee/calf issue, a positive progression from Monday where he didn't practice, and now it's confirmed that he's going to be available for this game. Is he going to be at 100%? That seems like a bit of a big ask here on a short week, but do I think, even him at like 80% is pretty solid? Yes, I certainly do. Jalen McMillan, he is going to be out for this one with that hamstring issue. You don't want to be messing around with a hamstring problem early in the season, guys. You are absolutely playing with fire. All it takes is one bad acceleration, one bad step even, and you could just be out for effectively the whole year. Like, that is a major, major injury. So they're going to play it safe with him. That makes sense to me for sure. It also appears Palmer is going to be out for this game as well. So yeah, not going to be the full complement there, but when you've got Godwin and you've got Evans out there, I don't think you have to be too terrified here. I mean, this is going to be a very good offensive team, generally speaking. We did see 3 starting offensive linemen marked as questionable there early in the week. But guys, things are looking a bit better. Even coming off of a good week there, it's confirmed they're only going to be missing 1 offensive line starter. So generally, I think that we can look at Tampa Bay as in better shape health-wise on offense than they were a week ago. So that's got to be a nice development for all you Buccaneers fans out there. In terms of the defensive side of the ball, guys, there were 3 defensive line starters questionable. 2 of them practiced on Tuesday, and we are getting confirmation now that all of them are going to be ready to go except for 1. So that's not too bad, not as bleak as it was looking there for a minute. I think, this defense is looking all right. Obviously, going to be missing Winfield Jr. there at safety. That's not ideal, but it's not like they're going up against the craziest passing attack from the Falcons, so I don't think this is the worst time to have your starting safety out for a game. I think that'll be quite all right bringing in the backup in this situation. And yeah, you don't, once again, a situation, with a foot injury, an injury that you can make worse, sitting him out for this game, especially on a short week, seems like the correct decision. So yeah, guys, right now, gotta feel pretty decent about the way things are looking for the Buccaneers. They are coming off of a big win, so that's a little bit concerning, and they are probably going to be the public side in this game, but right now, gotta feel good about how they are playing, and we'll see how their opponent looks in this game. The Atlanta Falcons, 2-2 on the season. They come into this game fresh off of an absolutely insane win last week. That's a deep, deep field goal to have. You make it, you win. You miss it, you lose. Well, they knocked it through the uprights, guys, and they will take that win. A much, much needed win, 26-24, playing at home there against New Orleans. So, yep, the Falcons get on the board with that win for sure. Second win of the season. They did beat the Eagles in week 2, winning 22-21 in a crazy game, but man, how happy are we as Falcons fans right now? I would say a little bit of room for concern right now. Cousins did not look very good against that Saints defense last week. He got picked off once, completed only 21 of 35 passes, got sacked only once, so that's a positive development, but man, definitely not the kind of performance that is inspiring tons and tons of optimism. Usually you don't see guys, and generally speaking, I'm talking about players that are playing a more athletic position than a Kirk Cousins style of quarterback, but usually it takes, a full year at least for guys to get back to even close to 100% coming off of an Achilles injury. So Cousins is going to have starts this season where he struggles, and how is that Achilles going to feel on a short week? Definitely plenty of room there to be worried about how he's going to look here. And it's not like he's going up against the easiest defense either. So definitely plenty of question marks there about Cousins. Algier, Robinson, they didn't do amazing stuff in the running game against the Saints, but they weren't terrible. Got to give him some credit, especially Algier. He looked pretty good. 8 carries, 60 yards. Nothing wrong with that. The passing game for the Falcons really didn't do too much either, to be honest. Most of the offense in this game came from the defense or special teams. Just lots and lots of weirdness in this game for the Falcons to eventually be able to come away with the win. Yeah, just not a lot of guys putting up good numbers. We saw Cousins fumble at once, but it didn't get lost. So yeah, I mean, getting a little bit lucky there. Not going to lie, getting a little bit lucky, but hey, luck helps for sure. Drake London had a decent game catching the ball, 6 receptions. I mean, he was targeted 12 times though, so yeah, that's not the greatest catch rate, and just not a great day for the Falcons offense. And in terms of their defense, they did some very good things. They did struggle against the run, not going to lie, but they got an interception off of Carr. That's nice. They also had a fumble recovery, so another positive there. And yeah, the defense doing what it can, but man, kind of getting asked to do a lot here, and they're definitely going to be going up against another very solid offense. So we'll see if they can, they're going to have to do a better job of stopping the run. It's something they couldn't do last week against Kamara, and now they're going up against the two-headed monster of the Buccaneers running game. That could be a bit of a big ask. So yeah, the Falcons maybe not flying the highest here coming into this game in terms of their injury report, guys. We've got some dudes on there for sure. It's looking like Robinson, he's going to be ready for this game. He said he was going to be ready. Well, we'll see how ready he actually is. He's going to be available. He's going to be playing. But when you're dealing with a hamstring issue like we were talking about, guys, it does not take much. He could be A, very ineffective in what touches he does get. B, they could be extremely cautious with him in terms of like throttling down the number of touches they even give him. And C, all it takes is one weird sprint, one weird tweak, and he's immediately going to be on the sidelines for the rest of this game, if not longer. So definitely something to monitor there. So yeah, that's a bit concerning. Ray McLeod was limited with an ankle issue, but he practiced on Tuesday in a limited, fashion, and he is marked as available for this one. But how effective can you be as a wide receiver in the NFL if you're only running around out there on one ankle? That's probably not amazing. But generally speaking, this offense is technically healthy right now, but definitely a situation you want to be monitoring there with Robinson. I don't think we're going to see him get a ton of work. How much does that hurt them with Algier out there? I would say not a ton, but definitely a situation to keep an eye on. Their defense looking pretty healthy coming to this one. Troy Anderson looks like he's going to be out for this game. Yeah, it's confirmed that he is going to be sidelined here for Thursday Night Football. But other than that, this defense is healthy, and that's a big plus for this team. They do rely a good amount on that defense, but the defense hasn't been that incredible. I mean, allowing 21.3 points per game, that's 14th in the National Football League. And while they have played a pretty rough schedule here, I mean, facing the Steelers, the Eagles, the Chiefs, and the Saints over their first 4 weeks, yeah, I mean, just not a lot of massive positive stuff. I mean, how good are the Eagles at this point in the season? How good are the Chiefs at this point in the season even? Like, maybe not a defense that we need to be super duper high on. So yeah, guys, definitely room for concern here about the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, they got that clutch win last week on that 58-yard field goal, but yeah, this seems like a fade spot here for the Falcons as well, coming off of that very, very unlikely and very, very crazy win. Guys, looking at the weather for this one, we've got crazy. No, I'm just kidding. It's in a dome. There are no weather considerations for this game. Obviously, looking at some trends here, guys, we've got Tampa Bay. They are 3-1 against the spread this season and 2-2 to the over-under, so 50-50 over-under team. But 3-1 against the spread, that's a pretty good start to the season. Atlanta only 1-3 against the spread. They are 3-1 to the under this year, and you always want to take a small look at those unders, on Thursday night games. An over-under of 43.5, maybe not an amazing number out there. I would like to have seen it a little bit bigger in this situation. To be honest, guys, I don't have much of a play there on the over-under. Yeah, it's up to 44 now, so yeah, pick your own poison there. If you're asking me, I'm just going to blindly keep betting unders here in a small way until we get really proven that primetime unders aren't going to be the thing to go with. But right now, that's my lean on the over-under. In terms of the side in this game, guys, we've got a couple of trends to look at here. Divisional home underdogs, so that would be Atlanta in this spot. Divisional home underdogs are 44.3% against the spread on Thursday Night Football. So yeah, that's a trend right there pointing us towards the Buccaneers. Thursday home teams, so this would be the Atlanta Falcons as well, are 37-54 against the spread. So not really wanting to be back in those home teams on Thursday night. This is a letdown spot for both teams, with Tampa Bay coming off of that blowout win and Atlanta coming off of that insane late win. Guys, that makes this a little bit of a rough one to pick, but I'm going to be on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this spot. I think they find a way to get the job done here in this divisional game. They're still getting 1.5 points, which to me seems a little bit crazy. Neither one of these teams is at full strength, but I do think this is a very good spot here to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, guys, let's go ahead and switch over, take a look at some player props for this one. There's some interesting ones out there, and they play a little bit into that trend of looking at the unders. And guys, I'm going to be looking at Atlanta on their first drive to not score. Not good right out of the gate last week at all. I think we're going to see Cousins dealing with, and just the entire team dealing with being a little bit banged up. So I think it's very unlikely they score here on their first possession. But on that same kind of situation, guys, Tampa Bay to score on their first possession seems very likely. You can get that at plus 135. This is a great offensive team firing on all cylinders, and they're relatively healthy coming into this game. I'm not that high on that Atlanta defense, and I think there's a good chance that Baker Mayfield has a great, script lined up for the first couple of series, at least the first series, and I think there's a good chance we could see them get at least a field goal, if not a touchdown here in their opening drive. In terms of some player props, now we really get into the meat of this, guys. I think taking Kyle Pitts under 29.5 receiving yards at minus 110 seems very reasonable to me. He just does not seem to be a target that Kirk Cousins really cares about, and Kirk Cousins not really having the best time out there. Last week, guys, we saw poor Kyle Pitts get only 3 targets and no receptions for no yards in that game. So could he do better than that in this one? Sure. Do I see him catching 5 or 6 balls for like 50 or 60 yards? Absolutely not. I think under 29.5 receiving yards for him seems extremely reasonable. I also think taking a look here at Cade Otton, guys, his spot makes some sense for me for sure. Taking him over 29.5 receiving yards, you can get that at even odds. That's a great price. He had 9 targets last week, 7 in week 3. Seems like Baker really likes him. We could see both Evans and Godwin a little bit banged up for this game on this short week, and I think that could lead to Otton definitely getting plenty of catches there. I mean, he had 52 yards last week. If he could have caught 1 or 2 more of those balls, he could have been pushing like a 70, 80 yard game. I think there's a great chance we see him have a very good outing in this one, guys. And on that same side of the ball, guys, Godwin, I know he's not quite at 100% coming into this game, but I think he's a decent guy to take a look at catching a touchdown pass in this game. He's plus 145 to score 1+ touchdowns, and he's had a touchdown every game except for last week. So if he's, fully healthy here, I think there's a very good chance we could see him get into the end zone here. I don't think there's any, major reason to think against that except for that health. And, especially if we see Mike Evans a little bit banged up, maybe Godwin looks like a slightly more attractive option there in the red zone. Last but not least on the player props here, guys, I think Algier at 1+ touchdown at plus 200 seems extremely reasonable. A lot of this bet is based on Robinson being limited with that injury, guys. I don't think we're going to see him at anywhere near full strength. A hamstring issue, not something to mess around with like we were harping on the whole time there. So I think this is a great spot for Algier to get out there and get into the end zone if possible. You could also take a look at some of his overs on his rushing numbers, but none of those really jumped out at me too much. But if Robinson is limited here, I think Algier has a good chance to end up in the end zone. That's all we've got for Thursday Night Football, guys. Hey guys, jumping in here with a quick ad break. First of all, this is a great time to sign up at stumpthespread.com. Signing up for a premium membership gets you access to our entire team of cappers covering MLB, NCAA football, UFC, and the NFL. If you just want to test out the service, a great way to do that is by joining our free email list, which will get the occasional free or premium pick straight to your inbox. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and become a channel member for early access to all of our NCAA football and NFL videos. Now guys, back to the games. Now let's hop over to this one Major League Baseball game that we've got. We are getting treated to one Game 3 here. We've got the New York Mets going on the road to take on the Milwaukee Brewers. Absolutely crazy game yesterday, guys, with the Brewers coming up clutch and getting that win. They won 5-3, so great stuff there. We were on Milwaukee in that game, so very excited to see them come away with the win. The Brewers overcame some kind of mediocre starting pitching there from Montas. The bullpen looked very good, which is kind of what they needed in that game. Honestly, just need Montas to soak up a few innings and not lose them the game, and then the bullpen can take over and do their thing. They did a great job of hitting the ball against Maneo once again. He went 5 innings, gave 6 hits, and 2 earned runs in that game. So yeah, very good stuff from the Brewers. There was some clutch late game home runs there in the bottom of the 8th inning. So great stuff for Milwaukee. They've earned a shot here to advance, and they're going to be going up against the Mets here, who now, season on the brink. They're going to be handing the ball to Jose Quintana in this game. He's 10-10 on the season with a 3.75 ERA. His last start, guys, was at the Milwaukee Brewers back on the 28th of last month, and he went 4 1/3 innings, gave up 5 hits and 2 earned runs. He struck out 9 and walked 2, but that was in a game that we eventually saw the Mets lose 6-0. So not the best stuff there. The dude had thrown the ball really, really well in his 4 starts before that, but he was going up against weak opponents except for the Phillies. He had a very good start against the Phillies, so got to give him some credit there. But yeah, struggling in his last start against Milwaukee, maybe not the best look. He started his season off against Milwaukee back in March, so not a lot we can take from that one, but he didn't have a great time in that game either. So we'll see what he's got in the tank for this one. Maybe not somebody that I'm super high on in this exact spot. And in terms of their bullpen, guys, the Mets, maybe not my favorite team there either. I mean, yesterday the bullpen looked kind of questionable there late. Obviously, we saw Garrett, he had a good inning there, but can you really trust this Mets bullpen? They're definitely not at the same level as that Milwaukee Brewers bullpen, and obviously giving up 3 earned runs out of the pen last night, not the best look. We'll see what they can do here, but I don't think that the Mets pitching staff is in a very good position for this game, which has to feel pretty rough, but there's only so much you can do about that here in the playoffs. So we'll see what we get from them on the mound. At the plate yesterday, definitely good things from the Mets. I mean, putting up 8 hits and 3 runs in the playoffs, not terrible, but we saw Lindor go 0 for 2 in the leadoff spot, not a great look. We saw some hitting there from the bottom of the order, but they just didn't do a great job of bunching those hits together. Not a ton you can do about that. Hitting the ball in the playoffs can be kind of rough, but over the course of the season, the Mets have been a pretty good offensive team, clearly top 10. I mean, 7th in runs scored, 10th in slugging percentage. This is a pretty good offense, but what will they be able to get going here against the Milwaukee Brewers, who have the momentum now in this series after winning game 2? And yeah, I mean, this has been, I would say, definitely the better team over the course of the season. Might have gotten a little bit of a bump there from getting to play so many games against NL Central opponents, but still, Milwaukee came into the playoffs here looking pretty good. They're going to be hitting the ball in this one to Tobias Myers, who's 9-6 this year with a 3.00 ERA. He's coming off of a very good shortened outing against the Mets. They wanted to keep him fresh there. That wasn't a game that meant anything to the Brewers. They won that game 6-0 though against the Mets back on the 28th. We did see Myers go 4 innings, give only a single hit and strike out 5. So very good stuff in that game, no doubt about it. Do we expect Myers to be able to carry that over and have another positive performance here against the Mets? Guys, I absolutely do. He's been very good this season. There's numbers that back up him actually being the Brewers' best starter, so I think we can expect Myers to go out there, even with the season on the line here, and have a very, very good outing. He's a bit young, a little bit on the young side, but not so young that we're worried about him, being overcome by nerves or anything like that. And maybe most importantly in this pitching matchup is that Brewers bullpen right there waiting, ready to go. Myers has any trouble, they can just come in and take this game over. The Brewers bullpen has been fantastic over the course of the season. They've been good so far in this series. They were very good yesterday. This is a bullpen that you can trust. So I'm expecting very, very good stuff from Milwaukee. Just generally speaking on the mound in this game overall, I think they are in a fantastic spot to have a good game. And in terms of the offense, they were obviously firing on all cylinders yesterday, guys. I mean, we just saw great stuff up and down the lineup. 2 home runs from your leadoff guy. Crazy, crazy stuff. 3 total home runs from the Brewers as a team. Yeah, 11 hits, just very, very good. This team's hitting the ball well. That was kind of their calling card all season long, guys. Milwaukee has been a powerhouse offensively. 6th in runs scored, 8th in batting average, 4th best team in the majors in on-base percentage. The slugging percentage numbers, maybe not super overwhelming, but this has been a very, very good hitting team this season. So yeah, Milwaukee coming into this game as favorites definitely makes sense to me, guys. We've got the Mets at plus 106 in this one, the Brewers at minus 115. We've got an over-under out there of 7.5. The Mets, a decent road team. Milwaukee, an elite home team this season, 47-34 at home. We've got both teams showing trends towards the over, and game 2 of this series was an over. Game 1 was an over as well. So yeah, definitely reason to expect there to be some offense in this game, and anybody that wanted to take over 7.5, I could certainly get behind that, guys. But I think the numbers in this game, the offensive numbers, they're going to be coming once again here from the Milwaukee Brewers. I like the Brewers at home in this one at minus 115. I think they make the, finish the comeback here after losing game 1 and win this series 2-1. Definitely like Milwaukee in this one. It's definitely going in the pinned comment. I think it's a fantastic spot for them. So guys, now that we've decided who we like on the side and that we're a little bit on the over in this game, time to look at some props. first of all, I know everybody wants those no-run first inning plays, and guys, I think this is a pretty good spot to go with that no-run first inning. It's at minus 135, not an amazing price here, but I definitely trust Myers to get out of the first inning without giving up a run. Do I trust Quintana to get out of the first inning without giving up a run? That seems like a little bit rougher of a request, guys, but the last time he went up against Milwaukee, he did get out of the first 3 innings without giving up a run, so I would say that's a relatively safe one in this game. In terms of some player props where we really look at the, what's going on here, I mean, taking Starling Marte makes a ton of sense to me to get a hit in this game. He got a hit in the last game that he faced Tobias Myers, so I do think there's a good chance we could see him get a hit in this one. Jose Iglesias as well, he had a hit in the last game where he faced Tobias Myers, so very solid reasons to think that he could have a good one as well, and he had a hit in game 2 of this series, so it's not like he comes into this game swinging a cold bat either. So yeah, those are the top two that I like. I also like Brandon Nimmo to get a hit in this game. He had 1 hit in game 2 of this series, and he's a very solid hitter. He's not at the top of the lineup, but right there in the middle, I think we can trust him to get, plenty of at-bats in this game, and I think there's a very good chance we see him get at least 1 hit in this one, despite going up against Tobias Myers. Maybe these aren't, hit spots that I am, in love with for the Mets, as they're the team that I'm fading in this game, but I do think, they're going to put up some hits. Since they had 8 hits yesterday in a game, they lost 5-3. So yeah, I'm not too worried about them, not being able to at least generate some hits. It's generating the runs that's the concern. And talking about generating runs, guys, we're going to look at some Brewers hitters. I think Chourio to get a hit in this game is extremely reasonable. He had 2 hits in his last game against Quintana, and yeah, he comes into this game swinging a very, very hot bat with those 2 home runs yesterday. I'm probably not going to run it back here with him to hit a home run, but you could see, who knows? It's not impossible. I also like Willie Adames to get a hit, guys. He had 2 hits in his last game against Quintana, so very good reason to be backing him here to get a hit. You could even roll the dice and take him to get 2. That seems a little bit aggressive to me in a playoff game, but I do think there's definitely some value on him to get a hit. I also like Bryce Terang here to get a hit. He had 2 hits in game 2, definitely swinging a very, very hot bat coming into this game, so really no reason for us to expect that to slow down either. I think we're going to see him get at least 1 hit out there. All the reason in the world to be backing him. So yeah, guys, those are the player props I like for this one, and unfortunately that is all the games that we have for today. Very, very light sledding in the MLB. Obviously only that one NFL game on Thursday night. So that's all we've got for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Thanks for watching. You can click the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com, and we will see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.